Machine exports are now going to be able to be more managed by the brand of machine than just all of the different formatting that we're able to create. This is going to help you to speed up your options. So we have the ability, if we go to templator.com, to lock these settings in for all of the users. So if you have multiple users, we don't want them all to have different types of exports. So if we go to templator.com, we're able to adjust these if we go to settings, template page, CNC saw page, and also the nesting page. If we start to look through, we also have the option that we can set these to all different types of machines or all to one. If we're using the saw page for something like Slabsmith, but we want to use the template page as for some other machine, we have that ability even down through the nesting. We can change that to something different too, or we can make them all the same. Now, to change these, all we need to do is come in and pick the brand of machine. Now, there is one specifically set up for CNC router or even Slabsmith, depending on what we're trying to do with it. But try to pick the machine that you're operating off of. So we're going to start here, and you're going to notice that we have all of our different files all set up, and they're also grayed out. That's because we took all of their information off of their most recent updated programs, and we tried to format it to fit. Now, the biggest thing is once we select these, when we want to lock any of these changes in, we want to make sure that this use company settings is checked. If it is unchecked, anyone else that has a login is going to have the ability to change those settings, but as soon as we check that box, it locks them into it. So this is a good way to manage all of your other employees or anyone using the product to make sure they're all exporting it the same way if they are. Now, sometimes what you're going to find is you may be running an older version of their program. Maybe you don't have the most updated version. If that's the case, for right now, the easiest thing to do is this company uses an R14 in their most recent version. But if I hit customize, it now gives me the ability to alter things. Now, I'm not going to alter any of these CAD exports. These are designed for their program, but I am going to change out my CAD file format. If you have something like an R14, but the files aren't coming in, my first recommendation would be to come in here and switch this one to an R12. That's going to allow you to take an import to that program, a little bit of an older file format. It's kind of a good way to do it. So what I would recommend is if you are starting with something and it's not quite working, click the customize button and try to pick the older format of that file to start. Now make sure your company settings are locked in, and then that means that any of your users are going to get that new setting, and we can try to export that and re-import into that program again. We also, like I said before, can change all of these to do something different if we want them to, but this is a great place to start. Make them all the same machine. Make sure you use your company settings lock in, and then see how it exports. But if you need to change anything, we don't have to chase everybody down. We can just come back into templator.com, make one change. The next time they sync up, they will all get those updates, and then we can try to export from there again.